Today we're going to be talking about flare-ups and specifically prednisone, because flare-ups are a really big topic, and I feel like we can talk about flare-ups forever as far as emotional, physical, and mental impacts. But I wanted to narrow it down to a specific subject, and then we can sort of chunk down the different flare-up topics from there. What is prednisone? Prednisone is an anti-inflammatory drug. If you have ulcerative colitis, like I do, your doctor will at some point probably prescribe you prednisone if you have a flare-up. And basically prednisone is going to work to sort of decrease any inflammation that you have and get your digestive system back to normal, which sounds incredibly positive. And prednisone is a fantastic drug in that it works consistently. If you take prednisone, you should start feeling better after, however long your regimen is. That being said, there are of course some negative effects to prednisone, which I think drive me insane every time I take it, particularly on the higher doses. I'm talking about 40 milligrams and up. I do want to preface this video by saying if you are prescribed prednisone, you should always take your prednisone. Never go against your doctor's prescription regimen. Your doctor knows what they're doing way more than you or I do, unless you are in fact a doctor. The first thing I want to talk about as far as prednisone, the thing that drives me insane because I feel like I'm forever dieting, is hunger on prednisone. The higher up I go, the more I experience an insane hunger where I want to shove literally anything I can get into my hands, in my face. I think it's been the most frustrating thing about prednisone, because I think in my head I'm like, I can't really be that hungry, but my body's like, but you are so insanely, indescribably hungry. It's like no matter what you've just eaten, you need to get more food inside of you or you are going to die. The basic way that I deal with this, because there really is no way, that full feeling that you have doesn't really exist when you're on prednisone. So the best way to combat this, I find, is a calorie counter. There is no other way for me. If there is another way for you, if you still get that full feeling, fantastic. But I am at this point now with prednisone where if I'm on prednisone, I will just eat until I die. I feel like a calorie counter, it tells you how much you need in a day, and you can sort of gauge whether or not you're going crazy. That isn't to say that you have to stick directly to the calorie counter. It's just to say it's a nice way to sort of get an idea of how many calories you're taking in, especially if you're watching your weight and on prednisone. It just helps. It definitely, having a calorie counter sort of gives you that, here is how much I'm taking in, and here is how much I might want to take in. Alternatively, you can just give yourself a break on prednisone. If you're on prednisone, there's a very good reason, and you don't necessarily have to worry about your weight. And if you feel like that kind of additive stress is just going to make you more agitated or upset you, then don't even worry about it. Don't worry about the calorie counting. Don't do it. Don't bother yourself. That brings me into my second thing that I hate about prednisone, or the second issue that I have with prednisone, rather, bloating. The longer you're on prednisone, the more you're going to bloat. And this is something that, unlike calorie counting, there really isn't any way to manage this. You're gonna bloat, and it's gonna suck, and I'm sorry. When I bloat, I feel like I can feel my skin stretching, and it's the worst feeling in the world. I don't feel comfortable inside my own skin. My clothes don't fit right. I don't like the way I look in the mirror. There's just a lot of negative feelings that come with the bloat, especially when it hits your face and the rest of your body. It just does not feel good. It doesn't make you feel good inside, doesn't make you feel good outside. You don't really want to go out. You don't really want to talk to anybody. At least that's been my experience. Also, really quick, actually, hello, again, it's me from before. Right now in the video, I forgot to mention this. When you are bloating, make sure that you use lots of lotion. It's particularly skin firming lotion. It's good for your skin, it's going to hydrate your skin, and if you are on and off prednisone, your skin may stretch, and lotion will help with the elasticity in your skin long term. Okay, back to the video. the best way that you can deal with this isn't going to be a reoccurring theme, because it's really the most important thing that you can do when you're on prednisone or any kind of medication that's going to kind of mess with your appearance and your feelings, is talk to people, and especially people close to you. You're going to let them know that maybe you're not feeling your best self. Maybe going to that party is not the best idea for you right now. Maybe you don't want to like sort of go to the beach or go out on the town. Maybe you just kind of want to keep it low key for a little bit. This depends on how long your prednisone regimen is. If prednisone is going to be a long-term thing, which it shouldn't, you should not be on prednisone for any longer than you absolutely have to be. You may want to adjust that. If you're on prednisone for short term and you want to keep to yourself, that makes sense. But the longer you go on prednisone, the more that you're going to need to have a support system and have people around you. So you don't want to isolate too much. Which brings me to my next topic. Mood swings, particularly anger. Prednisone is like a feeling enhancer. Particularly anger, I find. You don't really have the patience for what people have to say, especially if you feel like it's not relevant to what's going on. And sometimes nothing is relevant to what you feel is going on, because a million thoughts are flying through your head at any given moment, and everyone's just kind of like in the way and wasting your time. This is another situation where like it might happen and there isn't much you can do except for tell people around you that you're taking prednisone and that you may be agitated. Let people know when you're getting agitated so that you don't blow up, because I have had a couple of blow ups on some poor uninformed people, and they do not go well. And just be very aware of the fact that you are sensitive to any sort of like volatility in your environment. You really want to keep things low key when you're on prednisone. And I don't mean like sequester yourself in your house. I mean like emotionally and stress wise. You want to keep things as low grade as you can possibly keep them. You don't want to be in a high stress situation on prednisone. Partly because you're already sort of dealing with whatever you're dealing with. I find that on prednisone, I don't want to listen to my family fight. Like, if my mother and my sister are having an argument, I don't want to be in the room, because that's just going to agitate me, regardless of how much my involvement is in there. I just can't handle yelling on prednisone, like in general. Any kind of loud noises, any kind of screaming, I really don't want that in my space. I want to keep my space nice and calm, nice and relaxed. But that's a personal thing. The final effect of prednisone that I want to talk about today is excess energy. It sort of feeds into the anger and the agitation that may come in emotionally. It's just a general feeling of like, what am I going to do? I have so much energy. I want to do something. I want to do something. I want to do something. That is a tricky feeling, because on prednisone you may feel pushed to do a lot of things physically. It comes with the emotional agitation and like just this general sort of amp up of feeling. Everyone manages this a little differently. For me, it's more exercise and more artistic flow. But if you have something really important that you are working on, I mean for school or for work, maybe something legally that you have to do, and you feel that weird urge to work on that one really important thing, do the work, but don't submit it. Wait till you are done with your prednisone or in a calm space to look over your work before you submit it. The only reason being that just because you have extra energy, it's not always the most focused energy, especially prednisone-fueled energy. If you want to run, you run. You run till you can't run no more. If you want to work on that art piece or that novel that you've been working on for a while, you feel like that free-flowing energy, you want to get that out, you get that out. But that one really important legal or academic or work-related thing, you can do it, but hold off on the submission. You do not want to accidentally, in a prednisone-fueled energy burst, submit something that you have not looked over with a level head first. I speak from experience. It feels great and you feel productive and awesome, especially at first, but like you really need to make sure that you look over anything that you do that is very important while you're in a sort of prednisone energy high. This, like I said, depends on your level, both of prednisone and of energy. I've had times when I've just felt like a general pep in my step on prednisone, and times where I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. So gauge yourself. Prednisone is very much a personal thing, and it depends on dose and temperament. Just because I've had these side effects doesn't mean that you will, or that you have, or that you've had the same ones. You may have had different ones or none at all. And I feel like that's really important. I feel like most medications, it's sort of a personal experience, and though we may share some things, we may not share others. I just feel like I really need to emphasize these are things that have happened to me, and these are how I've dealt with them, and I'm sharing them with you in hopes that if you're going through this right now, that this helps you, and that you feel like you have someone that, you know, sort of went through it. If you have any side effects that maybe I didn't cover, or anything that like particularly irks you whenever you have to take prednisone, just you know, comment down below, talk it out. And if there's anything you feel like I should have covered, or anything that you wanna like bring up, definitely, you know, write it out. And that's it. Thank you guys for checking this out. I know it's been a little long. I hope it hasn't been too unfocused. But I will see you guys next time.